Hey everybody, thanks for joining me today. I thought it'd be fun today to create a travel watercolor palette out of an Altoids tin. So grab a cup of coffee or tea or wine or water, whatever you want, and follow along with me. I'll share some of my favorite watercolors and all the supplies I used, and let's just get right into it. Okay, so now we have our supplies together. I have chosen these 15 watercolors, and we'll be putting them in here with these. I think these are half pans. A full pan would be like double the size. So these are half pans. You can get these on Amazon for pretty cheap. These half pans came with some pre-cut magnet backing, but the adhesive that it came with is kind of not great. So I'm gonna just get some simple like tacky glue, and we'll glue those on there. And I've got, I think this will fit up to 15 total. Yeah, and we are ready to get started on our palette. Actually, real quick, talking about the actual tin that I'm going to be using. This is just, I think I bought this on Amazon. It's the exact size of just a regular Altoids tin. I kind of wanted to use an Altoids tin for this purpose, but I couldn't find an extra one that I had. So I did have this, so we're going to use that one. And it's just the perfect size for traveling. It fits really well in my travel pack that I use for travel journaling. And it's just the perfect size. There's some other, actually, I have this one on hand that I made. I think I ordered this tin on Amazon as well, but it's like for the size of a large iPhone, like the really big size. And I have some old watercolors in here. A lot of these are in here. But yeah, I just wanted to make a new fresh one. But it's fun to find whatever tins you can. And then as I'm traveling, I like to add stickers to them sometimes. Here is a cigar tin that I think my husband gave me. This has some leftover watercolors in it. I could reuse this guy, but yeah, he's a good size too. This one's just, I think this is gonna be perfect since I'm getting ready for a road trip in a couple weeks. And so, yeah, I'm just excited to get a new fresh watercolor palette made. So let's get started with that. Yeah, so I think first step, I'll just start gluing these magnets on the back or bottom rather of the half pans. I think I'm just going to use this good old-fashioned Aleene's Original Tacky Glue. It's great stuff. Pretty basic. You can get this anywhere. All right, so now our magnet backings are dry, and let's start to actually fill in the pans with paint, which is the really fun part and sometimes really messy part because, I've had these watercolors, some of them for a few years, and just with temperature changes, they're gonna want to kind of pop out a little bit, kind of ooze out a little bit. So this will be interesting. I have my paper towels handy in case I need them. I also live at 6,000 foot elevation. So whenever I buy a new watercolor tube, I'm like super careful because it can get a little crazy. But these I've all opened before, so hopefully we don't have any major surprises. My favorite brands are Daniel Smith. My gosh, I love Daniel Smith watercolors. They're beautiful. They're always just reliably beautifully pigmented, and you can water them down on a lot that you still get a really beautiful. Like you can find some really cool ones. Like this one is my favorite, I think, Moon Glow. And I'll show this in a swatch later on when we're done with our palette. But this makes just a really beautiful. It has like a separation that it makes with like a purpley blue and like a gray, and it's just like really beautiful. I am not speaking about this intelligently, but I don't care. And then my other favorite brand is Winsor & Newton. They're great. They're relatively affordable. Daniel Gray is also relatively affordable. Daniel Smith, I'm sorry. But Winsor & Newton is a great, just good classic stuff. And you can usually find these. I think I got all of these or most of these at Michael's, honestly. So, and you can find some good deals there. They usually have like a 20 or 30% off sale going on. So, yeah. And then I'm also going to include actually a gouache. You probably know, but gouache is like watercolor, except that it's much more like you can use it like a watercolor, but it is not transparent. It's more opaque. So I like to use a white gouache and just add that into maybe if I needed to go back and apply some white to like some clouds, or maybe use it as like a highlight or something like that. And then something else I always like to do is label my pans first so that I know and remember which brand and which color was in each pan, because I'll pull them out, rearrange them. So even when I swatch them out, it's a nice way to remember that how they're laying in the pan, but actually having written them down on the pan that they're in is really helpful for in the future. But anyway, let's get started filling in our pans, and hopefully we don't have any major accidents. So I don't know, we'll see. I have officially used up the rest of my Pyrrole Scarlet, so that's okay. We've got a little bit in there. I can get another tube and just add that on top even after it dries. Something else I like to do too is just give it a little tappy tap, just to like help it settle, because these paints will be kind of thick coming out of the tube. So if you want to have them kind of lay, just help them get settled, and then they'll just lay it a little flatter. So, all right. Well, I gotta make a note. Gotta get more Pyrrole Scarlet. Sometimes I'll just kind of go like this for a while too. Just be careful, spill it. Kind of helps make it settle. It's kind of fun. And these colors, I haven't picked them arbitrarily necessarily. They just happen to be colors I have found over the years to be what I want to keep in a 12, 15 color watercolor palette. So you got a good range here. You always want to have maybe like a lemon yellow and a cad yellow, sap green. That's always a great one to have, especially when you do a lot of nature painting too. You're going to want to have some nice greens, yellows, more like this cad yellow is more of a gold, which is nice. And then you're going to definitely want to have some browns in there. Burnt sienna, raw umber, Payne's gray is always nice. It's a beautiful gray. And then, I got to throw in my more purple. And then this is a really beautiful kind of like fuchsia kind of. Well, I'll show you in the swatching. And then a couple blues, couple of reds, an orangey red. Yeah. This is a really beautiful blue for like just a blue sky. Some of this kind of watered down. Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh, see? Look, I knew we were going to have a disaster at some point. Okay, I think that our paints are ready to go in the tin. I'm so excited. Okay, let's get these out of the way. Okay, we're gonna put them in sitting like this so that we can fit all 15 in there. We'll have 3 rows of 5. And I just like to, you know, kind of take that color wheel rainbow and then drop them in there in that order, but kind of zigzag them down like so. I'm just going to stick with the order I, you know, planned there. Ooh, getting a little tight in there. It's okay. All right, then we had, let's see, let's do the, we have our, oh yeah, we'll do, let's see out of there, raw umber, Payne's gray, and last but not least, the final piece, our gouache. Now these are, uh-oh, hold on. Get in there. There, okay. Oh, look how snug and fit they are. It looks so good. So these are still like not totally dry, and it's not because, well, yes, I'm very excited about this, but I kind of wanted to keep them somewhat wet so that when we're swatching out, and I'll show you, when I start swatching out, getting a wet brush in there will actually kind of help pat down the bumps and have them kind of sit in like a nicer way. So let's get to our swatching. Just kind of like lay that down as you just kind of re-wet the paint. It'll tend to just kind of like nicely lay flat in there, and then I use that to start our swatch page. Let's see. Depending on how big your swatch page is, I like to, lay down like a strip and then have one end of that strip just be more concentrated, so I can kind of gauge how that color looks with different levels of water. Got my window open so you can kind of hear some of the street noises outside. And my dog in here's just kind of like panting away, trying to like figure out a place to sit and lay down, but she has to do about like 15 rotations before she actually lays down. I'm gonna have to make my lines a little thinner here so that I can fit all 15 colors in here. Yeah, getting that like wet again just kind of helps it like fill in the rest of the pan, which is nice. Yeah. Swatching out colors is just the finishing touch of making a new palette, or even just like buying a new palette. If you buy anywhere online, it's just such a fun way to get to know the colors, how they look, how they feel under your brush. It just kind of like gets you excited for painting. Sometimes I do that just when I want to, maybe it's been a while, I haven't gotten the paints out in a while, and it's just a nice way to like ease back into it, because it takes like no thinking whatsoever. It's really nice. Just laying down some colors, all you doing. Okay, then we're zigzagging around to this side. Yeah, so these colors that I've chosen for my palette, they're just some of my favorites that I've found over the years. You have some basics in there. You always want to have like your like a bright lemon yellow, kind of more a gold yellow. Sap green is so nice for nature, if you do nature painting. Yeah, so it's really all about, I think, choosing colors based on what you're going to paint. So that's a fun thing about making your own travel palette, is that you can, travel watercolor palette, you you can choose your own adventure. You can choose what you want to include or not include. So these colors I've just over the years, they've become reliable, comfortable. It's a little bit of everything for me. I usually will paint, landscapes, but sometimes I'll, mix it up and just do something like completely random and fun. Just like a little doodle or something, or something abstract, a little sketch. Yeah, I think we'll be bleeding onto our other page here. That's okay. This is all just for the fun of it all. We're not trying to be perfect or fit within any parameters or rules. That's like literally all you want. This is what you want to do. Choose your own adventure. Yeah, so this here is the moon glow that I had mentioned earlier. It is my favorite. I think my favorite Daniel Smith watercolor. And I will try to kind of pull this up, but you can really get a sense, like there's some really cool purple pigments in there that kind of separate naturally as it is mixed with the water and then starts to dry. I love it. And I love how kind of unpredictable watercolor can be. I think it's great. I love it. It just reminds us to chill the F out sometimes, Can't control everything. There's very little that we can control in our lives. And so I feel like watercolor is a really wonderful teacher for that. So that's why, it's easier. It's like, it's just nice. It's just easy to travel with. That's all you need is a little bit of water. Yeah. Oh, I think I accidentally mixed my... There we go. Alright, swatching out our browns now. Well, I'll probably go back in and, I know these colors, so I don't really need to write them down. But it didn't hurt. Never hurts to know what you're working with and how they're looking. How they're going to look on paper. And this I'll put down in the description all the paints and everything I've been using here. But this watercolor sketchbook, I love it. It's by Handbook. I can't recall if that's like the brand. I can't remember if it has someone makes it in particular. I'll have to look that up and put a link in there. But it's very they make great watercolor sketchbooks. Stuff. And that's the Payne's Gray. Oh my gosh, I love me some Daniel Smith Payne's Gray. Oh my goodness. Okay, and there we have it. There's our new watercolor travel palette. I'm gonna let this finish drying so that it's ready to take on some adventures. Thanks for joining me today. I hope I can answer any questions you may have in the comments. This is a new channel, so a subscribe, a like, it goes a long way to making sure I can pop up in your feed again. And thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope this inspires you to get out there and get painting.